Hello, welcome to the Death by Disney podcast. My name is Adam, and today we're going to talk about Blackbeard's Ghost, a film from 1968. On this podcast, I review every Disney film that's ever been released, and this is a Disney film from 1968. I gave it 8 out of 10. So it's not a perfect movie by any means, but it's certainly an enjoyable movie. So I'll give you a synopsis of the film, I'll give you my review, I'll give you some trivia, and then I will interact with other people's opinions about the film. Sound good? Great. Okay, here we go. So when track coach Steve Walker accidentally invokes the spirit of a notorious pirate, Captain Blackbeard, who was believed dead, hijinks ensue. He must now lay the pirate to rest and save a local hotel from mobster Silky Seymour, who wants to build a casino. Here's my review. This is an enjoyable romp from the 1960s. Peter Ustinov is great as the ghost of Blackbeard, and Dean Jones is great as the much put upon straight man. After watching this, I can't help but thinking, when did the straight man die in comedy? It used to be a very normal thing to have an actor who was not saying specifically funny things. It was a foil that made the comedic actor even funnier. The plot is really flimsy, but these two actors are so over the top, one being comedic and the other being the straight man, that it is a real delight to watch. It is the quintessence, hard word to say, it is the quintessence of American pop culture from the 1960s, and I would recommend it to anyone. And I realized that I was reviewing That Darn Cat, and I said the same thing about the death of the straight man. So we don't have to go into it, but it's just so wonderful, this interaction between this manic man and Peter Ustinov and Dean Jones, the role that he was born to play. And I think, I forgot what other film that was, but I read a review of somebody else's where they were talking about Dean Jones, what he does in Disney films, and he's just like this normal guy, and he is going forward in life, and then he has to deal with unexpected problems, and like animated cars, or this case the ghost of pirates. But he does a really good job in that, and he needs some kind of foil to play against. Okay, the trivia, not much trivia for this one. It was released, I think, on the 325th or the 225th anniversary of Blackbeard's death. Pretty interesting. So let's look at some other people's opinions about this film and see what they thought. 1 out of 10. Blasphemy. I saw this piece of tripe and couldn't believe the mockery of a brilliant and yet ruthless legend. Teach deserves more respect, like the portrayal of him in the National Geographic film Terror at Sea. He was inventive, strong-minded, and wise up until his brutal death. To betray these traits is offensive to me, when there weren't very many others who could have held a candle to him, and most likely never will. To make some goofy film about the most notorious seaman of all time, especially in the era of Sergio Leone and others, is just an embarrassment. I don't mean to be a nerd or defend a man who some may find offensive, but as far as history is concerned, in my own opinion, he was among the most riveting. I feel like he was more of a role model than a villain, depending on the perspective you take. Any film that takes a shot at a man such as he is a display of ignorance and stupidity. I suggest reading Under the Black Flag by David Cordingley, who writes about Teach using fact, not silliness, which only minimizes and belittles the genius of one of the last true men who embraced freedom and had the will and courage to choose his own destiny. The floggings will continue until morale improves. And that's Bad Luck Sunshine from 2006. Wow. So many things to talk about with that review. It raises some interesting points. But the first main objection I have to that is that, yes, this character is called Blackbeard, but it's not the same character. Because Blackbeard was trapped by some kind of magic in this, and as we know, the real Blackbeard died. So this is a different character entirely. So getting offended, I know it might be a bit confusing because the name is the same, but getting offended by this portrayal is a bit ridiculous. And it's weird to mention directors like Sergei Leone. This is a Disney film from the 1960s, so don't expect something like that. You might get in animation. They might make a great animated feature, right? They might go really, really high up in terms of like what they're trying to achieve in animation. But with live action, it's just about entertainment. So that's one thing. The other thing is probably Teach was complicated, and the idea of piracy was complicated back then, but he was a pirate. He was stealing things that didn't belong to him. So I understand that people do romanticize pirates and like life on the sea and all of that, but why don't people, romanticize bank robbers or pickpockets or scammers? Like, oh, I guess they do kind of, like Wolf of Wall Street is all about romanticizing a scammer. And you're saying, oh yeah, you're misinterpreting that. Oh, I didn't finish watching that movie because the amount of swearing in that really put me off. And I'm not a person who dislikes swearing, but it just was too much. I didn't like the movie. And I think the point of that movie was probably to say that this is bad, but people misinterpret it entirely, like with Fight Club, like with a lot of films. But this movie is really hard to misinterpret. It's just a fun movie about a fun pirate's ghost. That's all. If you want a more accurate portrayal of the historical figure, then go look at those movies and books that person recommended. Okay, and a positive review, 10 out of 10. I loved it as a kid. Wife and I watched it tonight. Still a lot of fun. Great kids movie still. And I still laughed a number of times. You need to watch it with 1960s Disney eyes. And that's from Gatorgus 88473. I can't believe that Gatorgus wasn't a unique enough name. Gatorgus 87743. Yeah, so I generally agree. I think it's a fun movie. It's a nice movie. But I don't understand why. Like, a lot of people say, oh, you need to like look at a movie from perspective of its time. I don't think you need to do that with this movie. It's not that deep. It's a fun movie about a pirate ghost. You don't need to like adapt your expectations for that. It's a fun movie about a pirate's ghost. All right, I liked the movie, maybe even loved the movie. One of my favorite Disney live-action movies so far. What do you think? Have you seen the movie? If you have, leave a comment in the video and just say what you thought about the movie. Please like and subscribe to the channel if you're on YouTube, and please, I guess you would, if you're on Spotify, also subscribe to the podcast and on other podcast apps if you use them. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.